The palace corridor shimmered with soft blue light as Captain Aaron waited for his orders. He had survived battlefields, asteroid storms, and enemy fire, but somehow, standing still made him nervous. The galactic summit was hours away, and every detail had to be perfect. Aaron glanced at the massive holoportrait hanging on the wall. It showed Queen Illyria of Astra, calm eyes, silver crown, and a presence so powerful it felt alive even in an image. Without thinking, he sighed and muttered under his breath. The Queen is so beautiful, no wonder the galaxy listens to her. A sudden silence fell behind him. That is an interesting observation, Captain. His heart nearly stopped. Slowly, Aaron turned around. Standing just a step behind him was Queen Illyria herself, not a hologram, not a dream, but real. Her royal guards were frozen, clearly amused, and the Queen raised an eyebrow with quiet curiosity. I didn't mean, Your Majesty, I was just, Aaron stumbled over his words, heat rushing to his face. Instead of anger, the Queen smiled. Not the formal smile she wore before diplomats, but a genuine one. Most people lie when they speak to me, she said calmly. You did not. She walked past him, her presence commanding yet gentle. Honesty, she added, is rare in this palace. Keep it. Aaron bowed deeply, still stunned. As she disappeared down the corridor, he realized something important. Power didn't only come from crowns or fleets, but from humility, grace, and the ability to listen. And from that day on, Captain Aaron served not just a queen of beauty, but a queen of wisdom. Captain Aaron tried to convince himself that the moment in the corridor was over. A simple mistake. A passing embarrassment. Queens forgot soldiers all the time. He was wrong. Later that evening, the grand hall filled with delegates from 100 star systems. Crystal banners floated in the air, and the low hum of alien languages echoed beneath the vaulted ceiling. Aaron stood at his post, armor polished, face calm, at least on the outside. Captain Aaron. That voice. He stiffened instantly. Queen Illyria stood before him, no guards this time, her silver cloak flowing like starlight. You spoke honestly to a wall today, she said softly. I wanted to thank you properly. Aaron swallowed. Your Majesty, I didn't mean any disrespect. I know, she replied. That is why it mattered. She gestured toward the crowd. All these leaders see a crown. You saw a person, even if by accident. For the first time, Aaron noticed the tiredness behind her regal posture. The weight of endless wars. Endless decisions. Beauty, the Queen continued, is often used as a weapon against me. You spoke of it as if it were harmless. Aaron chose his words carefully. I think true beauty isn't meant to rule. It's meant to remind us what we're protecting. The Queen studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Walk with me, she said. Gasps rippled through the hall as a simple human captain followed the most powerful ruler in the galaxy. Whispers spread like wildfire. From that night on, Aaron was no longer just a guard at the edge of history. He had become something far more dangerous to the galaxy's balance. Someone the Queen trusted. Walking beside Queen Illyria felt unreal. Every step echoed through the grand hall, and Aaron could feel the eyes of the galaxy burning into his back. He kept his posture straight, but his mind raced. They stopped near a quiet balcony overlooking the stars. The noise of the summit faded, replaced by the slow drift of glowing nebulae outside the transparent barrier. Tell me something, Captain Aaron, the Queen said without looking at him. If you wore this crown for one day, what would you change? Aaron froze. No one asked questions like that. Not to a soldier. Not to a human. With respect, Your Majesty, he said carefully, I wouldn't change laws or borders. She finally turned to him. Then what? I'd listen, Aaron replied. To the people who don't get invited into rooms like this. The queen's expression softened, then hardened with resolve. "You sound like my mother," she said quietly. She believed rulers fall the moment they stop listening. Before Aaron could respond, an alarm pulsed through the palace. Red light flickered across the hall. An assassination attempt. Foreign delegates panicked. Guards rushed forward. Without thinking, Aaron stepped in front of the queen. Blaster fire shattered the air. Aaron deflected one shot, then another, shielding her with his body. The threat was neutralized within seconds, but the moment had already been seen by everyone. Queen Illyria placed a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "You protected me without hesitation," she said, her voice carrying across the hall. "From this moment on, Captain Aaron, you are no longer just my guard." The galaxy held its breath. "You are my voice among the unseen." And just like that, a single honest whisper had reshaped the fate of a throne. The galaxy did not react quietly. By morning, Aaron's name was everywhere, on encrypted news feeds, in whispered rumors, in the angry messages of nobles who had never liked humans near power. Some called him a hero. Others called him a threat. Aaron felt neither. He stood alone in the council chamber, staring at the empty throne. For the first time since becoming the queen's voice, doubt crept into his chest. He was a soldier, not a symbol. A listener, not a leader. "You're wondering if you deserve this," Queen Illyria said, entering softly. Aaron turned. "I'm wondering how many enemies I just made you." She smiled faintly. "I already had them. You simply revealed them." She walked to the throne but did not sit. Instead, she stood beside it. "They fear you because you are honest," she said. "And because you are human. You remind them that power does not belong to bloodlines alone." Aaron clenched his fists. "If they come for me." "They will," she interrupted calmly. "And not just for you." Outside, warships began to gather at the edge of the system. A coalition of old rulers, threatened by change, preparing to force the queen's silence. Queen Illyria looked at Aaron, her gaze steady. "Tomorrow, I must address the galaxy," she said. "If my words fail, there will be war." She placed a small data crystal in his hand. "These are the truths no ruler has ever spoken aloud," she whispered. "If I fall, you must speak them for me." Aaron realized then what the queen had truly given him. Not a title. Not protection. But the burden of deciding whether the galaxy would burn, or finally listen. And tomorrow, the universe would hear a voice it could never ignore. The day of the broadcast arrived like a coming storm. Across the stars, warships hovered in silence, weapons charged, commanders waiting for a single mistake. Billions of beings tuned in, some hoping for peace, others hungry for chaos. Queen Illyria stood before the galactic throne, calm but pale. Aaron stood just behind her, the data crystal heavy in his hand. One shot. One betrayal. That was all it would take to end everything. The queen began to speak. Her words were powerful, but rehearsed. Diplomatic. Safe. The warships did not retreat. Then the chamber shook. An explosion tore through the upper balcony. Smoke filled the hall. Guards shouted. The queen staggered as a shockwave knocked her to her knees. Before anyone could react, Aaron moved. He stepped forward, into the light, into the cameras, into history. "I am Captain Aaron of Earth," he said, voice steady despite the chaos. "And I was never meant to speak to the galaxy." The data crystal activated. Secrets poured out, hidden wars, stolen worlds, rulers who had profited from endless conflict. Truths no one had dared reveal. "This is what you call order," Aaron continued. "But I have stood beside your queen. She chose honesty over fear. And if you destroy her for that, then you prove her right." Silence. One by one, warships powered down. Weapons dimmed. Fleets withdrew. Queen Illyria rose slowly, eyes wide, not in shock, but in awe. She stepped beside Aaron, placing a hand on his arm. Today, she declared, a soldier reminded the galaxy what courage truly is. The broadcast ended. Later, as stars drifted peacefully outside the palace, the queen spoke quietly to Aaron. "You once whispered that I was beautiful," she said. She smiled, not as a ruler, but as a person. "Today, you showed the galaxy why." And from that moment on, history no longer remembered crowns or fleets. It remembered a single honest voice that refused to be silent.